Okay, it looks like people are joining now. So, Breaking Weather Storm Prediction Centers issued a tornado watch for a lot of central Oklahoma, which is expected, far northwest Texas. Anyway, it's watch 517, and it looks like it is going to be in effect till 10 p.m. tonight. And if you look at all the categories under tornadoes high, EF2s high, severe winds high, 65 knots high, severe hail high. They are basically saying that not a PDS right now, but we'll see how this unfolds. Primary threat includes several tornadoes and a couple intense tornadoes likely. Wind damage, winds, isolated significant gusts to 85 miles an hour. Remember earlier, I was talking about the low-level jet tonight after 7 p.m. The winds are at about 75 to 80 miles an hour at 5,000 feet. And when that squall line comes in, you get the momentum of the storms and the forward movement with the winds being so strong just above the surface, you could easily transfer these 85-mile-an-hour winds down the ground. So I expect extremely damaging winds besides the tornado threat, right? Hail almost a baseball. Okay, so just near baseball-sized hail, 2.5-inch diameter hail, winds goes to 85 miles an hour, and significant tornadoes. A few long-track tornadoes, okay? Basically, supercells capable of strong tornadoes and significant wind damage are possible, especially along the I-44 corridor. So let's talk about that, okay? So let's go to the I-44 corridor. Let me pull up my Google map here, and let's look at this here real quick. I'm down here Elgin right now. So basically storms are developing out west. Let's go to radar here. Let's go look at that here real quick. Let's jump over to radar. Sorry about that. Let's look at what's going on with radar. Let me get the right image going up here. Oh, we got warnings out in Pinham. So they have the EMD. Now the watch is out, and that'll replace that. So we've actually even got storm severe. They got winds, very damaging winds out here. I think they had winds gusts of 65. Well, they go 61, 65, 73 mile an hour winds. That came in at 308. That was 30 minutes ago. Measured. That was a mesonet. 73 mile an hour winds. That's the backside of that storm. So that's as that upper low kicks out, you're going to have very damaging winds. Another wind is 60, okay? So we've got some storms out there. So storms are now just, here's the upper energy coming in right now to just near Childers, okay? Here's Childers, southwest Oklahoma. There's Hollis. And we've got Frederick radar. So let's just look at the loop here real quick. So here comes the ball of energy. Storms along the front are lifting and developing and going north. They're lifting rapidly north. That ball of energy is transferring. Let's go over here to Lubbock radar and see what this ball of energy looks like. Okay, actually look at that storm. It's even behind the. Let's just look at velocities. Wow, look at that. That thing that's on the back side of the boundary, the arcing boundary here, and it's trying to rotate even behind the line. Look at that! Look at that blast coming in. Here it comes. So that's that big ball of energy. It's coming out, and it's rocketing east now. So the whole dynamics is coming out. So that jet is. That upper low, and that jet is like this, and that jet is going like that, and then at the bottom of the jet also splits like that. So you got this big southwest flow, and we're right in the middle of this area right in here. The air is rising rapidly, and that's where we expect explosive thunderstorm development. And extend again, I think something's going to come out of this Mangum, Hobart. You can see a lot of chasers here west a lot in this area, and then it's going to track rapidly up in this direction. And again, the latest data continues to advertise, and again, this could be off 10 or 15 miles, folks, as far as where the track is, and does it produce a significant tornado, or is it wind damage, or combination thereof? The models are persistent that whatever comes out of this general area here, and let's call it the 5-7-30 5-6 o'clock area, that it continues to advertise a significant storm, possibly tornadic, something like this. I'm not saying it's going to do that exactly, but it's something like that. Comes out of Pouchy, Elgin, north of Lawton. The models are persistent, like near Chickasha, just south of Chickasha, and then rapidly moves toward Norman and Shawnee. This is possibly possibly going to be the storm of the day, and it may produce a significant tornado. Again, we got to get these storms up. We got to see what they're doing. If you look outside, you can see all the upward motion. That's ACAS Alanis. You got upward vertical velocity motion in the atmosphere. It's rising. Alto Q is rising now. All quads. I've got Q swelling to the northeast of Elgin. Look at the low level moisture here, and this is the mid 60 dew points. It's about 85, 65 with a south-southeast wind of about 35 here, but it's near 91 degrees just south of me here, not very far. Okay, and look at all the ACAS and clear skies. You see big heavy clouds back to my northwest with some actual mid-level clouds and even some ample debris off to my west-northwest. So I'm staying in the car right now because it's extremely windy outside, and you would hear, looks like I've got Tower and Q now due west of me. I do see Tower and Q now going up. What's that storm back over at Altus? I can now see a pretty hard rock tower on that storm now to my west. That's gonna be the storm coming out between Hobart and Altus now. Hobart and Altus, I see a Tower and Q, big Tower and Q now. Let's see what the Frederick radar is showing. Let's see if I've got it. Yeah. Got little tower, and it's going to be just in the Hobart area. That's out to my west there. I can see it. Yep. So here's the storm right now. We've got just towers, nothing really big right now. You can see that here's a line of towers going up. This is Echo Tops right now. Snyder. This is the head of the cold front, and the cold front's kind of back out in this area. The surface low right now is back in southwest Oklahoma. It's right down in here is the surface low. It's right now Childers. Pressure's falling rapidly all in this area in southern Oklahoma. Pressure's falling rapidly now. Okay, and so that will be interesting. And they've got a lot of lightning now at Allen Reed. So the storms, the cold air loft's coming out, the upper energy's coming out. It's just a matter of just a little bit longer, maybe another hour. We should have storms hyper erupting. Here's the ball of energy, and it's coming northeast at about 45 to 50. About 1 hour, this ball of energy is going to be over the Montgomery, Hobart area. Probably as we get in that 5:30, 6 o'clock time frame, I expect storms to hyper explode in southwest Oklahoma, right in this general area. And the low-level jet is really, really strong, approximately about this area right here. The low-level jet's like really strong right in here. This is where everything's wrapping in. It's like it's wrapping in like this. Okay, as that surface slows down here, as it deepens, it's going to take off northeast, and it brings everything with it. At the same time, this ball of energy comes over and just over the triple point here, and you're going to get hyper explosions on the northeast side. And it says the storm of the day comes out of near northwest of Lawton on up to near Chickasha, south of Chickasha. In this general zone, you got to be on the outlook, right? Seminole, Purcell, Chickasha, Marlow, north of Lawton here. This area right in here, Anadarko, this general area. You got to be on the high outlook. So that's it for right now. Just getting a quick update about the tornado watch. But anyway, we'll see how as the afternoon progresses. Let me see what they did on the risk. I don't think they changed anything on the additional risk. Let me look here. Mezzo, that's up. That's got the surface low to south of Childers. Let me look at something here. Let's see if they changed anything on the new outlook. I don't think they did. Nope. 1920, still moderate. You see what they've got here now. It's a moderate risk. You see the moderate risk still there. Yep, big old moderate risk. They've got it pretty much unchanged. Look at the big hatched area for tornado. Look at that, 15% hatched. Comes back to Stinger Tail back in southwest Oklahoma. There's Childers. That's kind of the Hobart Altus area. Lawton's right here. I'm just north of Lawton. So whatever comes out just to my west, southwest here, it's going to track up near the I-44 corridor. That's what the Tornado Watch said. Intense tornadic supercells near and along the I-44 corridor. Okay, that's the message. The wave's coming, folks. It's as the Norman office said in their discussion this afternoon, just went out a few minutes ago. It's very hard to tell how this is going to unfold with the dynamics. And if the flow's backing and everything surging into one time, are we going to get discrete individual tornadic supercells? Is it going to be a squall line, as soon as it forms? And that's going to make a huge difference on the impacts, right? So if you have discrete supercells, then the chances of significant tornadoes are going to increase dramatically. If it's more of a squall line, more of a linear line that just rapidly punches to the east-northeast, the tornado threat will go down, but the damage wind threat will increase. So until these things get up and we see how it starts unfolding, but if you look at all the ball of energy behind the draw line out in Lubbock and west of Childress, that big ball of energy is coming, and it's going to hit these upper 60 dew points, temperatures in the mid-80s, 85 over 65, screaming back low-level winds. We've got a 950 and 850 millibar low forming in southwest Oklahoma, and as we get closer to that 7 o'clock time frame, which is about 3 hours from now, the low-level jet's going to ramp up to close to 40 to 50 knots. And then when that happens, at the same time that upper wave's coming over, the storms will probably go pretty intense at that time. And by then, the storms ought to be passing Chickasha, heading up toward the Oklahoma City metro area. And that might be the worst areas in the Chickasha area up to Norman, in that general area, as we get in that 7 to 9 o'clock time frame. If it's going to produce a damaging tornado, that's the most likely area at time it will do that, right? Yeah, I see that TVS back on Amarillo, Lubbock. That's behind the dry line. But where are things that happen? This thing is extremely dynamic system. For October, I'd give it a 10, level 10 today. It's very, very strong. So we'll see how this unfolds. And let me look at something here. If this is updated, give me this 18, 19, 19Z HRR is updated. I just want to look at one thing here. And like I said, it continues to put down these big crazy tracks. And let's see here. Wow, it's just continuing. Here's the, oh, come on, Pete, come on. Boom. So here's the latest track. Again, these are not perfect, folks, right? They're not going to be exact, okay? So it's got some stuff coming out of Childers. It's got some storms there. And you can still see that it kind of implies, and it's been implying this really since yesterday, right? It moves back and forth a half a county or county ever since yesterday. And implies that something, here's Lawton right here, and Elgin's right here, and it implies Snyder's right here. Somewhere in the Snyder area, here's Frederick radars down in southwest. Something comes out of Frederick, rips up over Snyder, misses just northwest of Lawton, if this verifies. Then it tracks up to just to the north of Elgin. This would take it into Chickasha, if this was correct. Then it goes past Chickasha, south of Blanchard, barely, and to the central south sides of Norman. That's going to be Del City on the southeast side of Oklahoma City. Then up toward, it's going to head up toward probably just near and west of Seminole, and up toward Bristow, Shawnee area, right? Shawnee's down here in Bristow, and this area is back down, or Bristol's back up here, but you've got Stroud and Chandler up in this area. So you kind of see, and look, there's some stripes. That's probably along the cold front northwest of the metro. But any of these storms could produce damaging winds, 80 miles an hour, and potential, possibly significant tornadoes. And the area they're focused on again. And then again, you got some of these other cells. If these can get going down here and get really beefy, these can also produce significant damaging tornadoes, right? So we just have to wait and see how this unfolds over the next couple hours. But I'm in chase mode, and I'm sitting still right now here just north of Oklahoma, just north of Lawton, and the cells to my west are continuing to come up slowly. We've got one at Roosevelt now, and again, I don't think these are going to be the tornadic storms, but they are definitely, I'm just going to exaggerate the echo tops right here real quick for Childers. And you can see this line that's building back to my west here, and they're rapidly lifting northeast here, northeast at about 45 to 50. Boom, look at that. And then if we go back to the west, here's the main bang coming out right now. Florida, Paducah, south of Childers. Here comes the big energy ball. So this is what we're waiting for. This big, huge cold air loft, upper jet core is coming out right here. Look at all this energy. The other thing I'm concerned about is when you start seeing energy way south like this, okay? See how far this energy comes way down here? It's lifting rapidly northeast. You can kind of get the idea of what's going to happen here, right? Yep. Yeah, I think Tulsa, you're going to have to watch it around 10 o'clock. 10 to 11:30 in that time frame, 10 to midnight, right in that time frame. Could be as early as 9:30. But yes, Tulsa, you need to be on outlook. Even if you don't have a tornado in Tulsa, the winds could be in excess of 85 miles an hour. And in these thunderstorms, you could have QCL tornadoes, maybe not the big tornadoes, but you might get an EF1. But again, the wind damage threat, the wind damage in this is going to be enormous. Yeah, if you look back here in West Texas, you got winds of 65, 70 miles an hour, 65 storm on this. Let's see what the wind was on this, 61. They've had, I believe, 65, 70. Well, we have a 70 while ago, 73 mile an hour winds. And the winds out here, folks, you've only got about 20, you got about 40, 30 knot jet on the backside down in. When the storms, it's kind of hard to explain. They had a 73 mile an hour wind, and their 850 winds are not that strong out here, right? Mid-level winds may be, but the low-level winds are not that strong out here. As you get over here after 7 o'clock, the winds are going to be like 30, and then they're 40, and then you're going to be 50 as you get toward Oklahoma City, and then as you get east of Oklahoma City, and it's going to be more like 8, 9, 10 o'clock, the winds are like 60, and then you get up toward Tulsa, the winds are going to be about a 75-knot jet core. That's at 5,000 feet, straight out of the south, feeding this line of storms. So if you get a big supercell here, and it starts getting in, the farther east it goes, the more of the inflow is going to go into that storm, and the more damage it's going to produce. If it can stay discrete, if it's one big cell and it's one cell over here and it's already going to town, tornadoing. As it goes east, it'll probably intensify, right? As it gets into the stronger winds. But again, we'll see how this unfolds. It's kind of complicated. Not everything's perfect for, but again, it's an October event, and it's kind of on the higher end, and we'll see how this unfolds. It may produce a bunch of tornadoes. It may produce just a few, a couple big tornadoes, right? But a lot of wind. I think the wind damage is definitely going to be a big problem, right? And then after we get out past the wind damage, the tornado threat, also flooding. They got a flash flood watch for northeast Oklahoma with these storms tonight. But again, wind damage is going to be a big deal. Let's go back to SPC. I'm going to look at something here. Let's go back here. Of course, we had to talk about the tornado. You got the big 15-inch, including Tulsa Metro. Goes up to Burlesville, goes up to Veneta, just southwest of Joplin. Joplin, you're in a 10% tornado, even as far northeast of Joplin, northwest Arkansas, Fort Smith, all the way down to almost Audubon, all the way to the North Dallas Metroplex. You're in 10% tornado. And then the main hatched area is up here. This is going to be when the draw line unzippers at probably about 7 to 8 o'clock. It starts unzippering down here. It'll start back building, and then this blasts east, right, across the I-35 corridor. But let's go to wind. Look at this wind. It's a big deal. And so is the hail. Look at this big wind. You don't see that very often. 45% hatched in the state of Oklahoma in October, all right? So you're going to see some really, really crazy winds tonight. So remember, if you got big trees and the storms are coming out of the southwest or west, if you got a big tree that's on the southwest side of your house and it's kind of old and maybe it's not going to stay up or stand up to 75, 80 mile an hour winds out of the southwest, you probably don't want to be to the east northeast of that. If it wants to fall in the house or fall that direction, you got to be thinking about that as these line of storms push through tonight from Oklahoma. So probably stay away from the west side of the house. I would go ahead and tell you right now, stay away from the west and southwest sides of the house. All across the state of Oklahoma. As you get after dark tonight and these storms are racing to the northeast, that's where the impact, if you get golf ball, baseball, hail, 80 mile an hour winds, it's going to blow out the west windows, could possibly blow out the west windows. And that's the area you want to stay away from. You get in the center part of the house, don't stay on the second floor, get into the bathrooms. So as these tornadic storms start forming and these damaging winds start forming back in southwest Oklahoma, and once they get up and going, so we can say, okay, here's the cell, it's definitely tornado, and this is what it looks like. It's by itself and it's individual cell and it's racing northeast at 50, then we know what mode to start telling people to put in, right? If we're going to, here comes the tornado type deal, or is it just going to be a straight line damage and wind event from a storm? But all modes are likely tonight, and I think tornadoes are very high, right? So I would definitely prepare for that. And another thing, I'm going to hit on this again, folks. This is nighttime, right? We had OU football was awesome yesterday. And if you look at this, helmet, everybody's got a helmet, right? And this is a Gathon. Actually, it's a surfing helmet. But anyway, no, I don't surf. But anyway, it's get a helmet, get your football helmets, get your helmets. I do it now. Get them ready, put them in the bathroom, get your mattresses and pillows ready for the bathroom, right? Or your storm shelter. If you've got underground shelter, got interior. If you don't have a interior, storm shelter or a shelter period, then underneath stairs, like a 2-story house, underneath the stairs, a lot of times you have a lot of walls between you and the outside. Also the bathrooms, you've got to get into the lowest floor and get in the center of the house. So you got to get the kids gathered, get the parents, if you got elderly people living with you, those type of things. You need to think about those things right now. It's 4 o'clock and about 3 hours, or about 2.5 hours, it's going to get dark, okay? You're not going to see these things coming. They're going to be moving at 50 miles an hour, and nighttime tornadoes, and potentially if they end up being big tornadoes, is going to produce bad things, right? I mean, really bad stuff happens. So you just need to heed the warnings. Watch your local TV stations or weather service. Have multiple ways to get the warnings. And guys, I'm just telling you, I'm in hammer mode because I've seen this before. And if this ends up verifying, this is, without a high risk and going totally nuts, it's for October. It's about as high as I can remember in a long time in Oklahoma. This kind of risk. This is really, really a high risk. I mean, this is a very high event for October, any part of October, okay? So that's it for right now. Satellite radar continues to show storms are developing out west. Texas Panhandle. Here comes the upper low. It's ejecting. Chillers, look, here comes all the upward motion. Look at all these clouds rapidly rising. Look at the jet energy back at her at Lubbock. This thing is absolutely, Lubbock is blasting out of the west. Now look at the winds just changed, blast now 35, 40, dew points dropping to the low 40s. And it is punching to the east. Yep. Yeah, driver's license, insurance cards, bank statements, cash. You got time right now. Actually, two things. You got time right now. It's only 4 o'clock. You got time right now to go get gas in your cars, right? Because if power goes out and you got 2 or 3 counties without power and you don't have no gas tomorrow, where are you going to drive, right? Go get gas right now. Go get you some cash. Go get you some cash out of the bank, right? And go get your car filled up and get your batteries, get your cell phone, start charging right now, right? And start doing that right now. So that's my best advice to you. Just get ready. And we'll probably start streaming continuously, I'm going to guess in 2 hours, 6, 7. When the storms get up and they're coming at us, we'll start the stream, okay? We're holding on I-44 between Oklahoma City and Lawton, and I'm waiting for we're waiting. You can see everybody's trying to race out southwest. I don't want to be out here because if this stuff passes you and it goes tornadic up here and you're way back here with, 200 chasers in front of you, you'll probably never catch it again. So I'm staying over here on the interstate. I'm waiting for the tornadic storms. I'm waiting right here. And I-44 is right here about a quarter mile from me. I can get on it. I can drop back south, or I can get on and get back up here and wherever this big bad tornadic storm comes out of here, right? So I'm in position. I'm waiting for it to come. And you can see here comes the energy. It's getting ready to cross in southwest Oklahoma now. It'll be about another hour max, and we're going to have big storms going. Here we go. It's got lightning out Shamrock. This storm is coming up. Got wind. Paducah storm is getting bigger. It's coming into Quanah. It's getting recrossing this, I believe it's Harmon County, just southwest of Altus, Hollis, El Dorado, Elmer. Thunderstorms are and continue to intensify back to your southwest. Not severe. They're just slowly coming up in intensity, right? But as soon as you get over here in these 60, mid 60 dew points, this is where they should erupt as they get just probably past Frederick, is what I'm guessing, right? Yep. All right, guys, everybody, it's no problem. You don't have to get too excited, but just be prepared tonight, right? This is more of an Oklahoma deal, North Texas. You got to be prepared, including Dallas Metroplex later on tonight about 10. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for the update. Remember, Twister Chasers on Tornado Alley video and, twisterchasers.com on YouTube. And we'll start the stream here. I'm guessing somewhere in the 6 to 7. I'm going to wait for the storms we have a bona fide severe storm, and I'll start the stream, okay? And then we'll start the intercept. And I expect a lot of this is going to be after dark, so I don't know how much you're going to be able to see, right? But we'll see. But I can tell you out the window here, I've got all kinds of clouds. It's dark bases. The clouds are rising. They're starting to get that vertical motion look to them now. So it won't be much longer, right? Won't be too much longer. All right, that's it. That's a wrap for right now. Thank you so much.